Hey everybody, Dr. Josh here, and I'm here at the Hayes for Lima headquarters at North Main, and we're here tonight for our Thursday night community discussion. And so we're going to wait just a few minutes for people to pop online here. We had a little bit of technical issues, which I think is kind of typical with these things. Every single time it's something a little bit different. So, but we're getting the hang of it. We're getting better at doing these little broadcasts, and we just wanted to jump on today for probably just about a half hour. Talk about a few things that we didn't get a chance to address at the debate, or some things that we wanted to speak on a little bit more. And we're going to go ahead and get started. If anybody has any questions, throughout this, go ahead and type them in below. Working from my cell phone tonight, so you might see me reaching up and scrolling and kind of moving things a little bit, but that's what I'm doing. So yeah, and absolutely, I wanted to remind everybody, if you type in vote Hayes below, vote Hayes or Hayes for Lima, I think it's actually vote Hayes. You will get messaged by a chat bot, and that's how you can find out how you can be part of the Hayes for Lima campaign, how you can be part of some of the exciting things that we're going to have coming up over the next month as we really push hard to get our word out there, to let everybody know in the city what we're about, what we're going to be doing, and how we can really take these ideas and really reform and rework our city. So it looks like we've got some people online here now. So tonight I wanted to base our talk on community growth. I think that that's something that every business, every city, if it's not growing, then we're doing something wrong. And I think that anything that we look at, everything should have a normal growth, a normal continuance of progress. And I think that one of the things that we found in our city here in Lima for so long is that we've been stuck. Stagnation, we've hit the plateau, reached critical mass, whatever you want to call it. But I think in times right now, I think our city is due for a shift in mindset, a shift in paradigm, in the way we think about things, the way we see things, the way we look at our problems, and the way we work to combat them, or to change them, or to affect them. And so the big thing right now that I see, and especially in community growth, is that right now we've looked so long to outside businesses, to outside industries to come to Lima and to bring jobs and to bring careers and things like that. But we've missed the point that we can work to grow our own businesses in our city. We can work to create our own industries that we need. And I think that first off, what we look to do with that is identify things that we need in Lima. Because if we can create and support industry in our city, that our people benefit from, that our citizens benefit from, so it's bringing something more than a job to our city. I think that those are things that we eat twice, or they're double wins. It's something that we're creating jobs, we're creating opportunities for people, but we're also, with those jobs, bringing that energy back to the city. And so some examples that I have that we've talked about, and that I've been working with business owners, people here in Ohio, people in Indiana, people in Michigan. I've spoken with people in Texas. But the first thing that I would like to do here in Ohio, here in Lima, is to tap into some of the things, the current industries, the existing industries that we see in our city, and things that we actually need as a city, as people. And so, a couple of things that we can really work into is our food production. And I was telling somebody the other night, if you think the toilet paper shortage was bad, wait until we have a food shortage. And I think that, it's not very far, out of the spectrum of things that could happen. For example, transportation goes down, trucks, the food being all produced in different places coming across the country or across the world to get to Lima, Ohio. If that shuts down for even a couple days or a week, we're going to start to see food shortages. And I think that one of the things that we can look to do, and we got to understand, is that everybody eats. Everybody eats. Okay, so this is something that is a necessity, and I think that we can tap into this food market. We can tap into our own ability, being in an agriculturally rich area with people who have knowledge, who have experience, and we also have the land and the ability to grow things. And so I think that we need to tap into that food market. We need to work to create jobs, growing food, supplying our restaurants, our hospitals, our schools, our nursing homes, our grocery stores, all of these things. And we can even create further industry in that, using local farmers and delivering food directly to people's homes and to drop-off points. And I think that these things are important. Not only will they create jobs, it's an already existing industry, but I think also it's going to create a lot of benefits, healthful, for our citizens here in Lima. The second big industry that I'd really like to see us tap into in our city is housing, building houses, renovating houses. I think that this is a major priority for our administration, that we are working to replenish our housing stock, creating places where people are safe, that they have quality housing, and I think that we need to build more houses to compete with the issues that we've been having with the landlords, issues of subpar housing and people not having options. And I think that with that, we're really going to work to establish opportunities for people to own their own homes. And I think that this is something that's very important for Lima. It's not just a statistic. There's always impact of these things that we measure. And so when we look at Lima, the fact that 48% of the people in the city own their homes, what that does is it creates a lot of moving around, people moving in, leaving, and people don't really put down roots. And I think that that's really where we start to establish a safer community, a more connected community, is with relationships. People that own their homes, people that have some skin in the game, tend to take a little bit more pride in the place that they're living. And this is just typical human nature, that if we own something and if it's ours, then we tend to take some more pride and we take better care of it. And I think that these are things that we can do within our city. It's not very hard that we can make these small adjustments. But as far as housing industry, we can really build a lot of houses. In fact, if we want to see our city grow, we must build houses right now. We've got to be renovating with one hand and building new houses with the other. And I think that until we do that, until we really focus on creating open space within our city, we're going to have a really hard time enticing new businesses to come, new industries and things like that, because there's no real availability. 97% of the houses, I believe, are occupied right here in Lima. A lot of people that live in homes that aren't being taken care of, that they would like to move out of, or if they complain to their landlords about something, people are being evicted in our city right now. And so, we've got to, kind of turn the table on that. We got to create a lower demand, more supply for houses, lower demand, so that way we can, get some of these prices in check and also give people ability to make a choice. Do you want to live in a house that isn't being taken well care of when there's another option out there? Because I'll tell you what, most people, they're going to take an option where they can move into a house that they can eventually own and something that they can create ownership with, instead of living in a place where they're renting and throwing their money away every month. So we've got to create these options for our people. And the third thing, as far as the industry, things that we can actually bring to Lima, I think that we really need to tap into the possibilities of alternative and natural health care. When we look at our city, and this is something I didn't really get to talk about at the debate, when we look at our city, we have 2 hospitals that serve a 13-county region. These 2 hospitals are bringing in $1.5 billion a year combined. And so to put that into perspective, our city budget is about $30 to $35 million a year, and these hospitals are raking in $1.5 billion. And so what that does is it shows that we've got a lot of sick people around here. It shows that we have a large need for health care. The hospitals are actually our largest employers, so we know that healthcare creates jobs, but we've got to do healthcare better. We've got to do healthcare with more prevention, and we've got to tap into some of these alternative and preventative healthcare markets and models that we're seeing all over the West Coast. Excuse me. If you go out to Washington or California, places along the West Coast, they're actually using these markets and creating huge healthcare industries that are not only tied to just that city, but they're developing nationwide and even globally, because we have this amazing thing called the internet now. And so, if we build and we become known, rebranding our city, I think that this is very important. And these are the kind of industries, these are the things that I want my city to be known for food production, sustainability, good housing, affordable quality housing, and healthy citizens, people that, are not, spending their time and their money, and all their energy trying to, get healthier to combat their sickness, but people that are spending their time and energy and, living their life and fulfilling their purpose. This is the real vision that I have for Lima, Ohio, and for our city. So we look at, how do we get here? How do we get to that? How do we develop these new markets? And I'm going to propose to you the first thing that we need to do is capture our youth. Our kids that are, 16 to 21 years old, we need to make sure that they want to stay in Lima, that they see a future in Lima, and that they have jobs and careers that they can step into right when they finish high school. And they can see that what they're doing is contributing to society, contributing to their people. Because one thing that I've found is that nobody will come here to Lima and work harder at making it successful than somebody who's from around here. Because we have family here, we have friends here, we have history here. We love this place because it's been a part of us and it's given to us. But really, in fact, the only way that we're going to get out of the place that we're in of poverty and stagnation is to grow this from the bottom up, to grow this with our people. And so, really, the first thing that I think that we need to do to make sure that we are, capturing as many of our youth as possible is we need to encourage and continue to, really invest in our trade schools and our trade school opportunities within our city. Lima Senior has tremendous trade school programs. They have, I think, 12 or 13 separate programs. Apollo has programs as well. And I think that we need to, work to really nourish and invest into these groups and make sure that they are, speaking with our kids, that they have, as much influence and, ability to reach out to our kids as we offer Army recruiters and things like that into our schools. That we need to be recruiting people, recruiting young people to help rebuild and to grow our city, because this is where it's going to start. So looking at the trade schools and the trade opportunities that we have in Ohio, I think one big thing that we definitely need to tap into is, like I said, the food production. So agriculture. Lima Senior, Apollo, both have agriculture, food production programs, and I think and also have culinary programs. And so not only growing the food, but also cooking and preparing it. And I think these are really important things that, we can start to do for our city, and we can start to see these types of things, really grow into something greater as we start to work into that food production and food industry, sustainability, taking care of ourselves, growing our own. Other things that we definitely want to look into and to see, is, these youth and these trade schools. We need investors, we need private sector people who are ready to come in and renovate houses and, work with the trade schools to teach these kids on the job, so that way when they're 18 years old, that they can come right out of high school and move right into a job, perhaps the same job that they were working or that they were training on while they were in high school, and working to rebuild and renovate our housing stock here in Lima. And what that does, once again, is it creates jobs, gives people something that they can see that they're helping the community. It keeps our young people around, and it makes our city more aesthetically pleasing, more beautiful, and safer. Absolutely. So these things, are very firm ideas that we've been working with people for a long time, working to bring that alternative healthcare. I've got a huge network that I've been working with for the last 10 years, people in the state, people around the country, people all around the world who've taken an interest in what we've been doing in this small town, combining and connecting people that work in natural healthcare. And I think that these types of things and these experiences and these connections that we've made over the years, these people really want to come to Lima and they want to see Lima succeed. And it's humbling to me, that people have taken such an interest in what we're doing, but they love me and I love them, and they love everybody here in Lima too, and they want to see us really succeed and to prosper as people. So really looking at these kind of industries to really create a space for growth for Lima. And I think that one of the big things that we talked about and tapped into a little bit at the debate was speaking about tiny homes. And I think that that's something that really intrigues a lot of people. At the debate, when I started talking about tiny homes, I saw a lot of people's eyes light up out in the audience. And I think that opportunity, possibility for affordable housing, economically affordable housing, houses for young people and senior citizens. And what these are, they're basically like apartments, but they're standalone apartments around 1,000 square feet. And what this does is we would work to build dozens of tiny homes at the same time. We would work to entice private investors with a short-term investment, and within 5 years or less, we would help. We would create a plan where the people that move into the tiny homes can pay off their home and pay off the private investor within 5 years, so that way they could purchase and own their home free and clear from the bank without any kind of mortgage payment or any kind of rental payment. And I think that this is kind of where we start to establish prosperity and financial equity with people, is we help set them up to be in a place where they can pay for their space and own it outright. And within that time, they can decide, well, I have this money now that's built up as equity. I could either take this and purchase, put this on a down payment for another home, or I could stay right here because it's pretty nice not having a house payment. And I've, really talked to a lot of patients and a lot of people, and I said, what would you do if you didn't have a house payment every month? What would you do if you didn't have a rental payment? And people will say things like, I would retire. I would spend more time with my kids. I had one lady tell me I would fix the house up that my landlord won't fix up. I've spoken to a lot of people. Had a lady tell me that she has spent $59,000 on her house, and her house is actually worth $27,000. And she doesn't move from that house because it has a handicap ramp, and there's no available housing within our city. And so these are some of the things that we need to work through. Last point before I start answering questions here, I'm keeping track of everybody's questions here, on the page. So we're going to go through them and answer as many as we can tonight. Let's see. I've been rambling for 20 minutes. So we're going to go through and answer some of these questions too. But the last thing that I really want to talk about, and is one of my favorite ideas and one of the things that I see, really trending and changing for our city, is we've got to, really look at a big picture of renovating and redoing our downtown business sector, really looking to get all of these empty spaces rented. We need new businesses in all of them. We've got to prep them up and make sure that they're ready to be rented right now. And I think that these are things that have been done in other cities. And from somebody who hasn't been in the government here, I can't really explain or tell you why they're not being done in Lima, Ohio right now. A few weeks ago, I was down in Bellefontaine, speaking with Jason Duff, somebody who has created a name for himself and his business and renovating cities. And it's quite amazing what they've done in this small town Bellefontaine city, looking at a city that has a population of about a third the size of Lima, Ohio, about 13,000 people, and they have created 200 new jobs in their downtown with local businesses. And I think that these are things that we've got to not discount, because these are jobs that are in human relations, service industry, things that people like to actually work. They're conveniently located, accessible to people. And I think that these are kind of jobs that, we can really bring to our city. So one of the things that I've talked about is creating a downtown business incubation model. And what we would do is bring in 12 new businesses, or bring in as many as we have space for, and help them to, I understand the difficulties that it takes to start a business and to run a business. So I want to help, reduce those issues and to knock down those barriers and to support our new local business owners in Lima. So what I would say is we need to bring these businesses all in together. We need to help them have the same accountant, the same attorney, the same marketing person, the same insurance agent, everything that you need to run a business that a lot of people don't know about. We bring all that stuff. We have one person that represents all of these businesses together, so they're kind of like in a group. And what will happen is, through synergy and growth, they would all support each other. They would all refer to each other. They would all let everybody know that they're all there together. And I think what would happen is they would all come up together. And I think that these are the kind of ideas that we need, that if we can help incubate and support 12 new businesses, we could be looking at creating, 30, 50, 60 new jobs right off the rip. And I think that this is something that would make a big dent in Lima, in our economic prosperity right away. So let me see if we got some questions here.
Want me to read them to you?
Yeah. Rob, read me questions.
Yeah. Is a downtown roundabout necessary?
Is a downtown roundabout necessary? This is something that I've actually been speaking about for a little while, because I think that roundabout the thing that we have downtown is not only an issue for traffic, but I think it's an issue for the energetic flow of our city. And if you look at things, it really flows in that east-west direction, and we see that in the east-west direction on Market Street, there's a lot more things going on. There's a lot more business access. But in that north-south direction on Main Street, we have an empty business here and we have an empty business here. And I think that it's very significant to have a flowing circle in the middle. And I think it's very important that we have that. And like I said, I do think it's significant, and it means something that our circle right now in the middle is broken. And I think that it'll help on a lot of fronts, to have that roundabout put in. From what I understand, it's not a huge project. It's just going to be a little bit of changes within the traffic flow and maybe some curbs and things like that. But I think it's something that once it gets in, I think people in Lima are going to be much happier with the flow of traffic and the flow of things that we see on our north-south passage down Main Street.
There's a gentleman that asked about putting vertical farms inside of empty rust-belt buildings.
Absolutely. Yeah, vertical farms. We're going to grow things any way that we can. We've looked at a lot of possibilities. I think that we can be growing things on roofs. I think that we can be growing vertical farms. We've got a lot of open lots. If you drive around Lima and you see these lots with the like little frames, the wood frames on them, on like the corners where they're kind of like framed in like that, those are land bank lots. And so those are owned by the county. They're waiting to come through the 3 years that they have to be held in the land bank, and then they're going to be auctioned. And so, you know, if you just look around, we've got so many open lots, so many places where, you know, we can, you know, really put down some food growth and create some agricultural growth. And, you know, really we can work into an infrastructure where we have private businesses, private sector businesses, you know, buying all that food, working through distribution plans, home delivery, and things like that. And we can really see that, you know, we can get this food that we are growing and producing out to people in our community better than they can if they're growing it in California. And so these are some of the things that you know, that we can look into is, you know, being sustainable, taking care of our own. And I think that when we do that, we're going to find it's cheaper for people, more profitable for local businesses, and we're getting the health and the nutrition that we need as citizens, as human beings. And I think that we're with those preventative measures, we're going to see that people have less doctor office visits, less emergency calls, less hospital visits, and things like that. And I think that that's what we're really looking for in the big picture. We've got to really look at this big picture, you know, that we want a healthy, happy, sustainable city where everybody has a chance to flourish, where everybody has a chance to, you know, to meet their highest potential. And that's the place that I want to create for our city.
Even though the city decisions affect the rest of Allen County, those that don't live in the city limits can't vote for mayor. What do you say to this?
I say, if you don't live in the city, and I love this because I think it's absolutely the truth that what happens in the city is affecting the surrounding townships. And I've spoken to a lot of business owners here in Lima, Ohio that don't live in the city. I've spoken to a lot of people that work in Lima, Ohio and pay Lima city taxes that don't live in the city. And what I tell them is that there's two options to be able to help with this in Lima. One, if you're a business owner, if you're somebody that knows a lot of people, tell everybody about our campaign. Tell everybody, because I'm a business owner and I know that what's going on in this city affects businesses in Shawnee and Elida and Perry Township and Bath Township and American Township and anywhere else around here is being affected by you know, what's happening within our city. So if you have a business in the city, if you have a business outside the city, tell your friends about our campaign. This is very important with grassroots campaigns because we don't have a political party backing us. We don't have wealthy donors. We are a campaign that's for the people. We're interested in helping the people. And in order for this to succeed, we need the people to back what we're doing. And so I'm telling you right now, if you want to see real change in Lima and you want to see you know, a change with the Good Old Boys, the Good Old Boys Club, the Friends and Family Favorite Club, and you want to see that be broken up, then definitely tell your people to vote Hayes for Lima, because this is what we're doing. This is part of our mission, is to create a more transparent, inclusive government that includes everybody. Every citizen within our city has an option to be heard and to be included. The other thing, the second thing that you can do to help us get the word out is to send us some campaign contributions. Okay, so this stuff costs money. All this stuff that we're doing right now, you see us on the internet, you see our website, you see our signs all over the city right now. We've got some big surprises coming up next week and some events all through April. All of this stuff costs money. It's a pay-to-play kind of game, you know. And like I said, we are not backed by deep-pocketed investors. We are not, you know, backed by political parties. We're doing this as a grassroots effort. So I'm not afraid to tell people that I put a lot of my own money into this campaign. We've gotten a lot of investors, or a lot of campaign contributions from people just like you guys, $5, $10, $20. They keep coming in, and it's amazing to see. I tell people it's like when the in the Bible story where the lady kept going to the cupboard and there kept being more bread show up. Every time I go to the bank, there's more and more money in there. So I appreciate what everybody's been doing so far. Really contributing. I'll make sure that I post the link. You can contribute online and it's super easy. So I'll make sure that I post the link here, and we'll make sure that we give everybody an opportunity, if you want, to contribute to the campaign. As far as if you don't live in the city, and you do own businesses, or even if you don't own a business, we are definitely up for, if you would like to be part of our campaign and come out and walk the streets with us and talk to people. If you would like to host me in your business or in your home, I will definitely come out and to speak to your group. To anybody that wants to ask questions or that wants to talk to me about how I think the best way that we can help Lima and help the people in Lima. I'm definitely open for that. So be involved. Email me, message me below. This whole campaign thing is like a business unto itself. It's been something that's taken a life of its own. We've got jobs for about anybody, any type of labor, skilled and unskilled. Or even if you just want to come out and be a part. And that's what I was telling one of the volunteers the other day. She said, "Oh, I don't know what to do." And I said, "Your presence is good enough. Just come and be here and walk with us." And it makes an important difference when people see that we are united and solid, with unity, and that we're doing this together as a group.
You still taking questions?
Yep, more questions. Let's keep going.
There was a gentleman that asked about the drug and violence issues and what your thought is moving forward if you're mayor.
Drug and violence issues. If you Google Lima News, opiate plan, Joshua Hayes, you can read my 5-step plan to end the opiate issue here in Lima. I think a lot of it starts with awareness. I think it starts with having natural options with counseling and cognitive behavioral change. But I also think, the dog's up there. But I also think that I'm a firm proponent for cannabis. For medicine. I'm actually working right now to collect signatures for a petition to propose an ordinance to Lima City Council to decriminalize cannabis, all misdemeanor cannabis crimes in the city of Lima. And I think that that's something that will be on the ballot on November, so everybody's going to get to vote for that. And so I think that when we look at opiate issues, we look at heroin addiction and things like that within our city. Also, meth is a big issue in our city. Crack is back. Crack is making a comeback. It wasn't something just in the 80s and 90s. It's starting to come back because it's a cheap drug. It's easy to make. And, people, it's very addictive. And so people are getting addicted to it once again. And so we've really got to focus on prevention. We've got to understand why these problems are happening. They're happening because people don't really have good alternatives for things like pain relief, for things like anxiety, depression, mental illness, and people are turning to drugs. The studies have shown that 80% of people that are addicted to heroin started with a prescription drug from their doctor. They've also showed that 65% of the people that abuse opiates initially start that because they can't get the pain relief that they're seeking. And so we've got to give people other options. We've got to give people other chances to relieve their pain and inflammation. And as a doctor, as somebody who studied this stuff extensively for over a decade, I can tell you that the more that I read about cannabis and the more experiences that I have with cannabis, that the better it gets. I have patients that have used CBD or cannabis, and they have not only quit taking 1 or 2 drugs. I've seen people quit taking up to a dozen drugs. And I think that these are the reasons that we don't see full legalization in our state as it is, because Ohio, and I'll tell you what, looking at this stuff, a lot of people may not understand this. Ohio is one of the biggest states that's owned by big pharma. more so than a lot of the others. And I don't know if anybody saw the news, but today, New York State just legalized all cannabis within their state. And so, we're seeing these changes. These are not radical, crazy things. We've seen actually almost 20 cities in the state of Ohio have passed this same sensible cannabis, sensible marijuana act in their cities. So we wouldn't be the first. To actually understand how common this is in the States, I believe there's over 30% of this, over 30 states of the 50 states in 50 states in the United States of America that have legalized cannabis on some level, medical or adult use, adult recreation, within the country. So, we're just working to follow suit and to make sure that things, progress within our cities so we can work to combat some of these problems. What was that question?
Tell them about 424.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And so I want to invite everybody tonight, and you can reserve your seats for this anytime, but we're having Lima's Cannabis Symposium on April 24th, and that's going to be at the Elks Club on North Street. And if you're not a member to the Elks, that's no problem. That day, the club will be open to the public, and you can come out and you can hear these amazing speakers that we have put together, that we have invited to the city, and that want to come here and to help spread the knowledge, help end the stigma on cannabis, and help really educate people. And so, we're going to be inviting politicians. We're going to be inviting the city council. We're going to be inviting business owners, police officers, doctors, anybody that has an interest in people should come out and hear this. Anybody that has an interest in healthcare, anybody that has an interest in social work and things like that, they should be the ones that are very interested in coming out to hear this and to hear this event. A couple of the people that are, going to be there, Tim Johnson, who's a 22-year retired police officer. He lives down close to Columbus. He's been working with state legislation. Also, we have a representative from the Cleveland School of Cannabis, who has a cannabis college in Cleveland as well as Columbus. We also have Representative Brent, who is a state representative here in the state of Ohio, and she's been working on the cannabis laws in the state as well, and a few other speakers. I hate to start listing names because then I forget somebody and they're like, "You forgot my name." Chad Thompson, who's been working with the Sensible Ohio petition, and he's been helping me with that. I got Tim. Let me see. And everybody,
the most knowledgeable people in the state.
Yeah, these are absolutely some of the most knowledgeable people in the state. That are coming to Lima to help teach and educate our people, because I really think that it begins and ends with education. And if we can start to understand things, from a different perspective, or to get the whole story on things, we can make much better informed decisions. And I think really, we need a government that allows people to think freely and to make informed decisions instead of telling people and mandating things that they should do. And I think that for me, in that approach, you're going to see somebody who, sits with the people on freedom of choice. I think that we're going to see a little bit different outlook around here.
Norman wants to know about sustainable energy sources, solar power. He's not talking about farms. He's talking about collecting your own energy on rooftops, people farming their own electricity.
Yeah, I think that's something that is definitely viable. I think that that's something that we can, put on the table. Identifying the right private sector businesses that, may want to come to Lima to help establish those industries. But I do think that, we have possibility around here, to do rooftop solar panels and things like that. I know one of my friends, Michael, out in Cridersville, he's been doing his own for a long, long time. I think it's just something that we have to discuss with people, and we have to see if it's a viable option, affordable, and something that is sustainable for people in our city. And if it is, man, let's go do it. Let's go do it. We've got to do some of these things that we've been talking about for a while. We've been seeing other cities and states do. It's time to give us a program. It's time to progress a little bit and to do it right.
Some of the old and historic structures in downtown Lima, like Memorial Hall, what are your thoughts?
These old historic structures, we've got to get them fixed up. We've got to bring them back. They're priceless. They can't be rebuilt. They can't be, you couldn't build something like that if we wanted to. And so we've got to really tap into creative ways to fund these things. A lot of them should be county historical sites. So we've got to, work to have them, labeled and deemed that. And then what that does is that opens us up for grants. And, really one of the things that I would like more than anything, if there's anybody out there tonight in this internet world that is a successful, experienced grant writer, I want you to message me and call me or email me, or any way, find a way to get a hold of me, because we can put you to work right now. We have a lot of ideas and a lot of plans, a lot of things in this city that we're ready to roll with, and we just need to find some creative ways that we can get funded and really do these things. And I'm sure that there's possibilities, and that's one thing that I think that I do bring to the city is possibilities. Not always do you have to know how everything's going to work out, but you do have to start taking steps forward, and I call those faith steps. You don't have to know what's going to happen with the step after this one. You just have to take this step. And when you do that, it's amazing how the doors start to open up, how the people start to come around. And that's exactly how we've done this campaign over the last 7 months. Starting with me and myself, and growing out to a team until we look around the city and we've got all these people around that are supporting what we're doing. Our signs are in their yard. They're sending us money. I sit out on my front porch and people honk and wave at me every day. It's something that people really see that we're in this, that we're genuine, and that we're trying to do, and we're going to do the right thing for our city. And people are starting to, come to grips with it, and it's an exciting thing. It's exciting to see the ball rolling and to see things grow.
The last one's from Kelly Jo. She's a homeowner in the city, and she's worried about the out-of-town property owners with multiple properties that are not either up to code or being kept up, impacting her. What would you do?
Yeah, there's a couple ways that we can start to look at that. The first thing that I would say is we have existing codes. We have existing regulations, as far as houses and the way they should be in our city, and we've got to start enforcing them. We have zoning. We have code enforcement. We've got to start doing it. We've got to start following up and doing that. I think if we start, making it a little bit harder to do business around here, if you're not taking care of your home, I think that we've got to, enforce these codes and really push these people to either clean their home or make it really messy for them to do business around here, and we'll see them sell their house. Or we'll find ways to, get it into the hands, make it really easy for them to get it into the hands of somebody else that's going to take care of it. I think that, once again, I think that we've got to work to create new options for homes. We need more homes in our city. We need more options for people, to purchase homes. And I think that people are going to find that, if there's an option, think of it yourself. If there's an option for a house that's better than what you're living in now, cheaper than what you're living in now, and you could own it in 5 years, why would anybody live in one of these houses that somebody from out of the city owns that they're not taking care of? And I think that what we'll see is these houses become vacant, and we'll see them either fix them up to compete with market value or to compete with market standard, or we'll see them want to sell them or dump them. And, you know, and that's the case. It's just another house that somebody could purchase and own, or we could have somebody that is a good landlord that takes good care of their houses, that wants to take care of it. And I think that we have those around here too. You know, a lot of people, you know, right away, they say you're here landlord and they're like, oh no, this person's bad. You know, we have a lot of people around our city that have homes that take very good care of them. And that's one thing that when I've spoken with a lot of landlords, I look at them and I say, your houses that you have right now, would you live in it yourself? And I think that that's the, you know, the deciding factor is this house worth it? Is this house something that's good, you know, for our city and as our citizens? Or is this some guy that's coming into the city that's here vulturing, taking advantage of people because there's not something else or something better available? And I think that these are things that, you know, instead of fighting these problems and trying to, you know, create a landlord list and to create all these, you know, other things that we have within the city, I think that we've really got to create a better supply and decrease the demand, and I think we'll see the market adjust itself.
That's the last one.
All right, no other questions from anybody.
But next week.
Cool. Dang, you guys did good tonight. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll see everybody next week. Let's see what is going on next week.
Early voting.
Early voting starts April 6th.
Westgate.
And yeah, so early voting starts April 6th. And so that is Tuesday. So if you're not registered to vote right now, I need you to comment, and you want to register to vote, I need you to comment in the link below, and we'll make sure that we send you the link that you can register online. If you've moved, if you've changed your address, you need to update your registry, and you can do that online very, very simply. And so comment below, just say I need to register, and I'll make sure that I send you the link directly, and so that way you can get on and do that. Early voting starts Tuesday, April 6th. I want to invite everybody out to Westgate Lanes that day. We're going to be there about 1 o'clock starting up, and I want to invite everyone out to come out and to meet me. If you've met me already, come out and have a good time with us. We're going to be bowling. We're going to have some pizza, good times together at Westgate Lanes, and we're going to be taking groups of people over to the Board of Elections downtown on Main Street and making sure that everybody comes out and votes in this most important election that we've had in Lima, Ohio for over 30 years. I had one of my patients in the office today, and he said, I moved into Lima 30 years ago and we still had the same mayor. And for me, I think that sometimes, you know, 30 really seems like, you know, just a number, but 30 years, you know, that's a lifetime for some people. You know, and for him, he said, I've been here for 30 years. We've never had a change in mayor. And I think, wow, that's such an exciting thing right now. I'm honored and humbled, and I feel, you know, very privileged to be in this position to lead Lima into a new day. And I'm excited for what's to come for our city. You know, change, here it is. And it's time to get it. So, you know, thank you guys. How do you know if you're registered? You can go to the Ohio Board of Elections site, and they have a voter lookup. And so you can type in your last name and first name, and they can actually tell you whether you're registered or not. They give you your address where you're registered, and it'll tell you where to go to vote on Election Day, which is May 4th. So make sure you mark that on your calendar. That May 4th, if you don't get out there and early vote from April 6th to May, that May 4th is the day that you got to be out there. You know, we need you guys. We need your votes. This isn't something that, you know, is going to, you know, build up and build the energy up and then pass. You know, we've got to, this is the first step I need from you guys is to come out and vote. And, you know, when you vote, I need you to know that that's just the beginning. That's just the beginning of this service that we're beginning to do for our city, that we've got to get together. We've got to be united. We've got to have a strong front of people. And I think when we do that, we are going to change this place in an amazing way. And I'm so excited to see what's to happen really for Lima. So, yeah, check your registration here in Lima. So thank you guys so much. My dog's getting in the video now. So, yeah, Alex has been sitting up there. Blue and Bingo. We're doing the video with Bingo and Alex tonight. So thank you guys so much, for tuning in tonight. I hope I kept everybody at least a little bit entertained. Got your mind on something good and positive. And, for me, I think it's just holding that vision. Continue to hold that vision. There's going to be distractions. There's going to be ups and downs along the road, but keep walking every single day. Tell your friends about what we're doing. Share this link right now. Share this video, because people are still finding out every day. I know some people are starting to get, I'm sure that you guys are starting to, see my face every day on Facebook, and to see, what we're doing every day. But it's not so much, for everybody that knows already. It's a lot for people that haven't found out yet. And that's what we're doing. We're making sure that we talk to people that haven't found out. We're making sure that people know that finally there's a candidate here that is here for the people, somebody that's going to do the right thing, that's going to create a transparent government, and that's going to make sure that everybody's included, and even the people that have been voiceless for such a long time, the people that have been disenfranchised, that haven't been included, because you know what? There's room at the table for everybody now, because we've got a new mindset and we've got a bigger table. So, once again, I just thank everybody for tuning in tonight and all the support that you guys give to us, and that you guys send with messages, with prayers, with words of encouragement. I know that, within our group, we've got some real warriors within this group, and anytime that I start to doubt, or anytime that I start to get down a little bit, it's just really right away that I receive a tremendous message from one of our people and one of our supporters, and I feed off that. I grow off that too. So thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we'll make sure that please come out on Tuesday for early voting party at Westgate, and we'll see you guys all next Thursday for our conference call once again. So if you have any questions from now to then, make sure you write them down, and we will be here live again next week at 7 o'clock. All right. Thank you all so much. Peace.